There are certain phrases a woman can say that instantly reveal the direction of the relationship and how she genuinely views you. Most men overlook these warnings. They justify her behavior. They convince themselves she'll eventually change. They give more effort, more patience, more understanding, believing that if they just love harder, things will improve. But some words should never be dismissed. When a woman says them, she's exposing her mindset, her level of respect for you, and her real intentions. And if you remain after hearing them, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and emotional damage. This isn't about bitterness or getting revenge. It's about protecting yourself as a man, your dignity, your peace, your emotional well-being. A lot of men don't get hurt because women are evil. They get hurt because they refuse to leave after a woman clearly shows she no longer values them. The reality is simple. A woman who truly respects you will not constantly speak to you in a degrading or dismissive way. And a woman who genuinely cares about you won't intentionally try to damage you emotionally or mentally. When she does, you don't beg, negotiate, or try to convince her otherwise. You walk away. Today, you're going to learn 5 statements that should immediately make you pay attention. These aren't harmless jokes, emotional accidents, or meaningless comments made in passing. These are revealing phrases. They expose her maturity, her emotional state, and the way she truly sees the relationship. When a woman says these things, there's truth behind them. Ignore them long enough, and eventually you'll regret it. Some men believe leaving makes them weak. In reality, the opposite is true. Weak men stay where they are repeatedly disrespected. Strong men know when to remove themselves. You don't need to yell. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to convince anyone to appreciate you. Walking away says enough. It says, I value myself too much to stay where I'm not respected. These 5 phrases are serious warnings. They signal that she no longer values you, no longer sees a future with you, feels above you, views you as an option, or has emotionally detached already. By the time these words come out, the relationship is already collapsing. It simply hasn't completely ended yet. A woman who truly wants you protects the connection. A woman who's emotionally done with you destroys the relationship through her behavior and her words. You never teach someone to respect you by remaining after they disrespect you. You teach people your value through the standards you refuse to compromise. If she says any of these 5 things, don't argue. Don't debate. Don't beg her to stay. Leave immediately. 1. I don't need you. When a woman says, I don't need you, she's revealing far more than temporary anger. She's showing you how she truly views your place in her life. Women do not speak this way to men they deeply respect or value. They don't say it to men they genuinely fear losing. When she says those words, the message underneath is clear. You are optional, replaceable, easy to lose. An independent woman can absolutely have her own career, goals, money, and identity without disrespecting her partner. There's nothing wrong with independence, but when she throws, I don't need you in your face during conflict, she's communicating that she no longer sees you as a meaningful partner. She sees you as someone she could walk away from without feeling any real loss. A lot of men try to repair the moment. They explain themselves, they defend their value, they work even harder trying to prove they matter. But once a woman starts speaking this way, she has usually already detached emotionally. You cannot convince someone of your worth after they've decided not to appreciate it. Understand this clearly. A woman who respects a man does not intentionally attack his importance in her life. Even during arguments, a mature woman can express frustration without trying to make you feel worthless. If she chooses to hurt you intentionally, She's no longer acting like a partner. She's acting like an opponent. This phrase also reveals another dangerous truth. She believes she has better options available. A woman does not casually push away a man she's afraid to lose. Beneath, "I don't need you" is another message entirely. She believes you need her more than she needs you. And the second that imbalance enters the relationship, everything changes. She stops appreciating your effort. She stops valuing your presence. She begins seeing herself above you. Once that happens, the respect starts dying. Staying after hearing this teaches her something dangerous, that you'll tolerate being devalued. And once she learns that, the disrespect usually grows worse. She'll begin speaking down to you. She'll make choices without considering you. She'll treat you like an emergency option instead of a priority. Why? Because she already warned you. You just ignored it. Leaving isn't emotional. It's rational. You are removing yourself from an environment where your value no longer exists. If she wants a life without you, let her have it. If she insists she doesn't need you, believe her. Too many men lose themselves trying to prove their worth to the wrong woman. But a man with self-respect doesn't beg for appreciation. He doesn't cling to someone who clearly dismisses him. When she says, "I don't need you," he doesn't argue. He quietly leaves. Because a woman who truly loves you will never feel the need to constantly remind you that she doesn't. 2, you're too emotional. Sometimes this isn't even said during a screaming argument. Sometimes it's delivered calmly, casually, almost subtly. But the meaning behind it is powerful. When a woman tells you that you're too emotional, she's often not criticizing communication. She's criticizing your masculinity. She's framing your emotions as weakness. And once she begins viewing you that way, respect begins disappearing. The truth is, real men absolutely experience emotions. Real men feel pressure, stress, disappointment, frustration, fear, and pain. Being emotionally honest does not make a man weak. But when a woman weaponizes your emotions against you, she's showing that she does not care about protecting your emotional well-being. A mature woman listens. A supportive woman tries to understand. A loyal woman appreciates honesty and vulnerability. But a woman who mocks your emotions sees herself above you. She expects you to carry every burden in silence while still providing strength, leadership, and support. She wants your protection but offers none in return. What this statement really reveals is that she is not emotionally safe for you. And if a man cannot trust his partner with his truth, then emotionally, he's already alone. This is exactly why so many men suffer silently. They fear being judged the moment they open up. They fear hearing things like, "You're too sensitive," or "You're acting weak." And once a woman labels you this way, she usually repeats it again and again. Later, during future arguments, she'll use it as ammunition. She'll accuse you of overreacting. She'll say you care too much. She'll dismiss your concerns as drama. Every time she does it, the respect weakens further. Eventually, you stop talking completely. You stop opening up. You stop trusting her emotionally. And ironically, she'll later complain that you've become distant without realizing she helped create that distance herself. But here's another important truth. A woman usually only speaks this way when she no longer fears losing you. If she deeply valued the relationship, she would be careful with your vulnerability. She would comfort you instead of humiliating you. And if she says it publicly or in front of others, the situation becomes even worse. At that point, it's not just disrespect. It's humiliation. She's willing to embarrass you to elevate herself socially. A woman who enjoys making you feel small cannot build a healthy future with you. When a woman dismisses your emotions, you don't beg her to understand. You don't over-explain your pain to someone who clearly doesn't care to protect it. You leave. Because a woman who genuinely loves you will never shame you for being human. 3. You deserve better than me. At first, this phrase sounds soft and caring. Some men interpret it as insecurity. They assume she's afraid of hurting them or struggling with self-worth. But in reality, when a woman says, "You deserve better than me," what she's really saying is this: I have no intention of becoming better for you. This sentence is often an emotional escape route. It allows her to withdraw from the relationship while appearing kind or self-aware. Instead of directly admitting she no longer wants to put in effort, she hides behind a softer excuse. A woman who genuinely wants you does not push you away. A woman who truly values you doesn't encourage you to find someone else. And a woman who sees a future with you doesn't emotionally surrender so easily. This phrase reveals something deeper. She already checked out mentally before you even noticed something was wrong. By the time she says these words, she has usually already stopped trying emotionally. Could she improve her attitude? Probably. Could she communicate better or put in more effort? Absolutely. But she doesn't want to, and that's the real message. A lot of men misunderstand this moment. They rush to reassure her. No, you're amazing. I only want you. We can work through this. But in doing so, they ignore what she's actually telling them. She's preparing you for the ending. This is often a soft rejection disguised as concern. She's saying she doesn't want to give you the loyalty, commitment, or effort you're asking for. She doesn't want to meet your standards. She doesn't want to grow with you. Because if she genuinely believed you deserved better, she would try harder to become better. She would fight for the relationship instead of emotionally abandoning it. But instead, she chooses the easier path. She removes responsibility from herself. You deserve better. Sounds kinder than, I don't want to continue trying. And underneath that statement is often another hidden truth. Maybe there's someone else she'd rather invest in. Maybe she's emotionally exhausted and wants out without guilt. Maybe she knows she's treating you poorly but has no plans to change. Women do not push away men they are deeply in love with. They push away men they no longer fear losing. And one of the biggest mistakes men make is trying to convince her otherwise. The moment you defend her after she's already emotionally withdrawn, you lower your own value. A man with self-respect doesn't wait around for someone who already admitted she won't become the partner he needs. He accepts the truth and walks away. If she says you deserve better, believe her and go find better. 4. I never asked you to do those things for me. This sentence hurts more deeply than most men initially realize. When a woman says, I never asked you to do anything for me, she's wiping away every effort you made in the relationship. Your support, your sacrifices, your loyalty, your time, your care. She reduces all of it to something meaningless. Women usually say this when they no longer appreciate what you bring into their lives. It means your effort went unnoticed. Your sacrifices lost value in her eyes. Your presence became expected instead of appreciated. A good woman notices effort. Even if she doesn't constantly say it out loud, she values what you contribute emotionally, mentally, and physically. She notices when you support her, help her, stand by her, and remain loyal during difficult moments. But when she says this line, she's communicating that she feels little to no gratitude anymore. This phrase is also often manipulative. Instead of acknowledging her own behavior, she shifts the focus away from herself. She avoids feeling guilty by pretending your effort never mattered in the first place. Psychologically, it protects her conscience. If she convinces herself that your love and sacrifices meant nothing, then walking away becomes easier for her emotionally. But there's another dangerous layer underneath it. She no longer sees your effort as valuable. She sees it as expected. Your loyalty became routine. Your attention became guaranteed. Your presence became convenient rather than meaningful. And once someone believes you'll always remain no matter how poorly they treat you, appreciation disappears quickly. Think about what she's really communicating. She's indirectly saying she owes you nothing in return. No effort, no loyalty, no emotional investment. In her mind, you gave willingly and she took willingly. Many men respond to this by trying harder. They believe more love, more patience, or more sacrifice will finally earn appreciation. But usually the opposite happens. The more you give without standards, the less value your effort holds. Relationships become painfully one-sided that way. And the deeper truth is this. Women usually say this after they've emotionally detached already. She's preparing herself to leave by emotionally minimizing everything you gave. A woman who still respects you acknowledges your effort, even during conflict. But when she says, "I never asked you to do those things for me," she's telling you there is no longer a sense of partnership or appreciation. You don't stay where your love is treated like it meant nothing. You don't argue. You don't create a list of sacrifices trying to prove your worth. You quietly leave and allow her to experience life without the man who genuinely cared. 5, maybe we should take a break. A lot of men hear this and convince themselves it's temporary. They think she's overwhelmed, stressed, or simply confused. But in most cases, when a woman says, "Maybe we should take a break," she's already preparing to leave emotionally. This is the soft exit, the slow goodbye, the gentle version of a breakup that allows her to detach gradually while avoiding accountability. Women do not take breaks from men they deeply want to keep. They take breaks from men they're uncertain about, emotionally disconnected from, or no longer excited about. A break often means she wants the freedom of being single without fully closing the relationship yet. She wants distance without responsibility. She wants options without guilt. Many men fall into this trap. They say things like, "Take all the time you need," believing patience will save the relationship. Meanwhile, she isn't necessarily sitting at home thinking about how to fix things. She's often exploring life without you. Here's the difficult reality. A break is rarely about repairing the relationship. More often, it's about testing whether she feels happier outside of it. If she truly wanted to fix things, she would stay and work through them. She would communicate honestly, compromise, and actively rebuild the connection. But a break avoids all of that responsibility. She doesn't have to fully commit. She doesn't have to fully leave. She gets emotional freedom while you remain stuck in uncertainty. And what usually happens afterward? She returns only if life outside the relationship didn't meet her expectations. If the attention she received didn't turn into commitment. If the excitement she chased lacked stability. If the options she imagined weren't as meaningful as she expected. Then suddenly she misses you again. But often, it's not because she suddenly discovered your value. It's because reality disappointed her. A man with self-respect does not sit on standby, waiting to be reconsidered later. He doesn't allow himself to be paused like an option sitting on a shelf. If a woman needs distance from you to decide whether you matter, the answer was already there. Because a woman who truly loves you does not walk away to see if the grass is greener somewhere else. She waters the relationship she already has. When she suggests taking a break, She's telling you her heart is already drifting away. Don't negotiate. Don't offer to wait forever. A man should never compete for certainty. You don't need someone who wants freedom from your loyalty. You don't need someone who treats your love like something they can temporarily set aside. If she suggests a break, understand the relationship is already ending softly. End it clearly and walk away. When a woman speaks, she often reveals exactly who she is and how she views the relationship. Most men don't get hurt because the warning signs were invisible. They get hurt because they ignored them. They held on to hope. They focused on potential instead of reality. They believed love alone could repair disrespect and emotional distance. But the truth is simple. Once her words consistently reveal indifference, disrespect, or emotional detachment, your responsibility is not to convince her. Your responsibility is to protect yourself. If she says, "I don't need you," she's emotionally separating herself from you. If she says, "You're too emotional," she doesn't respect your vulnerability. If she says, "You deserve better than me," she's already stopped trying. If she says, "I never asked you to do those things for me," she's dismissing your effort entirely. And if she says, "Maybe we should take a break," she's preparing for life without you. These are not harmless phrases. They are direct insight into her mindset. And once a relationship reaches this point, forcing it rarely saves it. Staying longer won't fix it. Changing yourself won't fix it. Loving harder won't fix it. Her words already revealed where her heart stands. There is strength in walking away. A man protects his dignity by refusing emotional disrespect. You don't need screaming, insults, or dramatic exits. Your silence speaks loudly enough. Because silence separates men with self-respect from men desperate for validation. Leaving doesn't make you cold-hearted, it makes you wise. It means you finally stopped investing your energy into something that was draining you instead of building you. And when you walk away, something powerful happens. Your value rises again. You stop pouring effort into someone who never appreciated it. You stop fighting for someone who stopped fighting for you. You stop chasing a relationship that was already falling apart, and eventually she may think about what she lost. Maybe not immediately, maybe not next week. But one day she may realize that loyal men are difficult to replace. Genuine support is difficult to replace. A man who cared deeply, stood by her, and truly tried. That kind of man is rare. But even if regret eventually reaches her, your responsibility is not to wait around hoping for it. Your responsibility is to choose yourself. Your peace matters. Your mental health matters. Your future matters. So if these words ever come out of her mouth, don't dismiss them. Listen carefully. Believe what she's showing you. Respect yourself enough to leave. Because a woman who truly wants you protects the relationship. She doesn't destroy it with her words.